The Eagles finally made some moves yesterday. They finally added in free agency. They finally re-signed someone from their roster from last year. Who are they? What's going on in free agency? What the hell happened to Max Crosby and the Ravens? Trending in the AM, we've got lots of NFL free agent news, basketball news, World Baseball Classic news. Trending in the AM, we're live with your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all. Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Wherever you're watching, whether you're watching live or on replay, hit the buttons on your screen wherever they are. Like the video, share the video out, subscribe. Of course, drop your comments live or on replay. Even the replay gang, I respond to each and every one of you. So we got lots to talk about today, and I want to hear your opinions on each and every one of those topics. So please, before we get started, hit the buttons on your screen. If you're watching live, vote on the poll question of the day. Do we like the free agent signing of Riq Woolen? Great addition. It's decent. He is overrated. They're your options. Vote on the poll question. Like, share, subscribe, and let's get to it. I am Phil Stiefel. And yes, late yesterday afternoon, early evening, the Eagles made their first big signing or addition in free agency, signing Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl champion cornerback Riq Woolen. He'll be 27 in May, so 27 when the season started. A former, almost defensive player of the year, a former all-pro cornerback, ball hawk guy, very big guy, 6'4", pretty big physical presence on the outside. He is strictly an outside cornerback. So that is that there. They add him. And, of course, everybody goes crazy. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. I'm a little surprised that their first big move was a cornerback to begin with. Secondly, Riq Woolen, it's a 1-year, $12 million deal with up to $15 million with incentives. This is a classic Howie Roseman move. Classic Howie Roseman going out and getting a guy that has had some, inconsistencies in his career. He peaked, and it kind of came down to earth. He lost his starting job to Josh Jobe, former Eagle, last year, on the way to the Super Bowl. A very interesting little situation there. This is one of those deals where he can come to Philly, right? He can reprove his worth as the outside cornerback. Massive upgrade over Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo, right? He can prove his worth and then go out and get a big contract next offseason, and then we get another comp pick. It probably does affect some of the comp pick situation that the Eagles got for all the guys they've lost already, but that's another situation. We'll learn about that later in the year or next year. Who knows? So we got to start there. We're going to talk about Grant Calcaterra. He is back. Johnny Munt, our new blocking tight end. Max Crosby, trade canceled from the Ravens, by the Ravens from the Raiders. He's back in Vegas now. Supposedly he failed his medical or they had questions about it. Lots to dive into here in free agency. Lots of interesting things to discuss. We'll get right to it. I am not going to even discuss Bama Adebayo and his 83-point performance. It's just stupid. He didn't. There's no reason for him to shoot 575 free throws last night. No reason for him to be in the game at that point. It was just ugly basketball. They basically just gave him that game. The refs gave him that record there. Good morning, little G. Good morning, Mr. Rick. How you doing? Anthony, huge signing. Riq is a huge upgrade over Adoree. First off, Adoree was very solid last year. But yes, he is a huge upgrade over Adoree Jackson. And now our cornerback room of Riq Woolen with Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean is stellar. Now, a lot of people are saying Cooper DeJean's going to slide the safety in base formations with Riq playing all the outside. I don't agree with that. I think that Cooper DeJean will still be your starting outside corner in base formations, and Riq would come off the field just like a Dory Jackson. That's just my gut feeling. I do think they're still going to add a safety sometime today, whether it's re-signing Marcus Epps or someone like Brisker or somebody else. That's going to happen today. Good morning, Adam. We signed Grant Calcaterra. Yay! Yay! The Eagles signed Grant Calcaterra. Woohoo! They also signed Johnny Munn, the Panthers blocking tight end, one of the best pass blocking tight ends in football. All I got to say about Grant Calcaterra, why? Why, first off, on Grant Calcaterra? Secondly, Munt has more catches in the last 4 years as a blocking tight end than Grant Calcaterra. And let's not say it's because Dallas Goedert was the number one tight end. Dallas Goedert was hurt a lot over the last 4 years, and Grant Calcaterra did jack shit. I do not understand the Grant Calcaterra re-signing one bit. Kind of silly, kind of stupid, in my opinion. Makes no sense. I would have rathered any random Joe Schmo tight end off the street than bringing him back. I didn't expect Howie to upgrade cornerback room like this. Woolen is another outside ball hawk with a low QBR. They are making the quarterback hold the ball so Carter has time to get the quarterback. Yeah, that could be it. There's a lot of little side effects of signing Riq Woolen. Here's another one. $12 million of your cap space is going to, well, we don't know the details, but a decent percentage of your cap space is going to him. That's cap space you need to eat a dead cap hit if you were to trade A.J. Brown. It makes, you already had arguably the best cornerback room in football. Now you have the best cornerback room in football. Now, let me remind you, I'm not saying, I don't want people to forget, he has regressed over the last couple years, right? He has had mental lapses. He does get prone to penalties and biting because he is a ball hawk, right? He's a guy that lacks a little bit of discipline. He's coming to Vic Fangio, who Vic Fangio hates lack of discipline, right? So this is a great spot for Riq to regain form if he's willing to focus, willing to, buckle down and get to work. But he's also, Vic Fangio, the kind of guy that if Riq Woolen pulls any of his nonsense BS, is going to openly call him out and openly bench him for it. So I think it's a great spot for him to regain his situation if he really wants to. The talent is there. Can he get his head in the game? Phil, do you believe with the additions of the two tight ends yesterday that Goedert is still a possibility of coming back? Rick, I can't answer that question without knowing. I'm not sure at what time does the league year start. Man, I got an itch on my ear. What time does this league year start that the contract officially voids, and whether we sign him or not, the dead cap hit is there no matter what? There's a certain time frame at some point this morning when his contract officially is voided and we eat the $20.5 million, whether we re-sign him or not. If we're eating $20 million and re-sign him, it's not happening. If they can get it done before then, I do still think there's a strong possibility of bringing him back. But every minute that ticks, less and less likely, Rick. If I had to guess at this point, he's not coming back. They're going to draft someone in the second or third round, and it's going to be your draft pick, Calcaterra and Munt, and that's it, which is crazy to me. By the way, Johnny Munt, who we did sign, was with new Eagles offensive line coach Chris Cooper in Minnesota from 2022 to, well, he was in Minnesota 22 to 24. I don't know if Cooper was there all those years. So he's got a little understanding. He's a perfect guy for a Shanahan, McVay type offense. He spent time with the Rams back in the day. So I like the Johnny Munt signing more than the Grant Calcaterra re-signing, and I don't know what it does. Josh Joby was a no-brainer for Seattle. Absolutely. Calcaterra, meh. Munt can block, and meh at catching. He's a better catcher than Calcaterra. That's all there is to it. Ravens equals buyer's remorse. Of course, Crosby's knee is going to fail a physical. He had surgery 2 months ago. Yeah, look. The whole Max Crosby situation, I don't know what to make of it. Was it buyer's remorse? Were they not honest, the Raiders, in what they said about the knee? I don't know. Max Crosby still probably gets traded. Does that open the Ravens up to wanting to trade for A.J. Brown? They were interested originally in him. I think there's so many interesting things there. I mean, like you said, he literally just had the surgery. Of course his knee is not fully recovered yet, right? Of course it isn't. But he's a premier edge rusher, one of the elites in the league. From what I read, my first initial thought was, what does it do to all the Raiders free agent signings, Tyler Lindenbaum, Nakobe Dean, and all the others? Supposedly from reports from real people like Adam Schefter and all, it doesn't affect them. They're still good on cap space. It doesn't leave them much cap space to do any more, but yeah, it's crazy. To me, it definitely sounds like buyer's remorse. We made this big, bold move, and then we're like, should we have really have done that? Realize maybe we need those draft picks. We lost out on other free agent things, so, I don't know. It's crazy. Was it similar? I did not know that. Just same as Jarrett McCain. Sam Howell went to the enemy. Yeah, whatever. Sam Howell gone to the Cowboys. That really doesn't move anything for me. Let Cooper play safety on base sets now. They finally have a better outside cornerback too. Look, as soon as I said Cooper will stay outside in base formations, literally a million people said this, and I don't know football, no. The Eagles have been very shy to move Cooper DeJean to safety at any point. And Vic Fangio said he likes him at cornerback. Obviously, he's the slot cornerback. Does it change they don't run base formation very often anyway, right? Vic Fangio believes in having the best 11 guys on the field based off of the desired formation no matter what. So maybe I am wrong, and maybe Cooper DeJean will play, a little safety 3, 4, 5 plays a game. Maybe. I don't know. But we'll see. I think we've got to temper our expectations for Riq Woolen as well. Riq Woolen is a guy that 4 years ago almost won Defensive Rookie of the Year, was an All-Pro, did have 6 of his career 12 sacks in his rookie year. But every single year he has regressed. He's still a really good cornerback, way better than Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo combined. But he's not better than Cooper DeJean. He's a different style cornerback, but he's not better. The league year usually start after 4 p.m. It does start at 4 p.m. today, the league year. But for some reason, I remember reading somewhere that his contract voided before 4 o'clock. I saw somebody say that it voided last night. I didn't think that. I think it was sometime today. If they have till 4 o'clock today to sign Dallas Goedert, I think there's a chance it gets done. There's now been 2 days, and not one rumor has been out there on Dallas Goedert. Not one inkling, not one little detail of Dallas Goedert out there from any team interested, which leads me to believe there's not as much of a market as we thought for him. And maybe he comes back again. What's up, Elephant? Good morning to you. Writer Johnny Wilson, Johnny Munt? Matt played under Mannion as well. I don't think so. Mannion was only in Green Bay. And he played for the Rams for 5 years, played for the Vikings for 3, and Jacksonville for 1. So yeah, but he does have experience with some of this coaching staff. What's up, Bruce? Good morning to you. Hope you are well. Maybe that knee wasn't as far along as they were expecting. Well, the reports I read this morning is that the Ravens spoke directly to the surgeon, got copies of all the updates and stuff. I still think it was buyer's remorse, for sure. Somebody said, yo, you overpaid for that guy. You didn't need to give up 2 first-round picks for him. But yet then they're like, shit, we'll just say he didn't pass his physical. I would love the league to investigate it. They won't. I love all the jokes that are floating around out there now that, the Browns are going to back out of the Deshaun Watson trade finally. The Ravens know they made a big mistake as they changed their mind. Bruce, I don't think you're wrong. I think everybody is right on suggesting that. Who did the Eagles add? They added Riq Woolen, cornerback, Seattle Seahawks. Great move. I feel like you're making up a guy. Really? So you don't know who Riq Woolen is? I mean, I guess you don't know football then. Hendrickson, who is getting the big fish? Well, now Max Crosby is back to being the big fish. Does this increase, change? Here's the thing. We talk about buyer's remorse with the Ravens, right? Buyer's remorse from the Ravens on the Max Crosby deal. Did the Ravens go out there and say, the Trey Hendrickson market isn't as expensive as we thought. Maybe we could sign Trey Hendrickson and save our 2 first-round picks. Maybe that's what they thought there. So maybe the Ravens go after Trey Hendrickson today. Just a random thought I had. Clint Hurt was the defensive coordinator in Seattle during Roll. Absolutely great point, mister. I had that in my notes to eventually get to. So Clint Hurt was his DC in Riq Woolen, his best year. Not just a Pro Bowl, an all-pro. 3rd place at Defensive Rookie of the Year. Read the tea leaves. Clint will be our next DC. It's possible. I don't know if that's necessarily the case because I think Woolen is here on a 1-year prove-it deal, and the goal is for him to get a major payday somewhere else next year, get the comp pick for it, or he just flounders and we keep him on a cheap deal. World Baseball Classic is over for the U.S. I said it. Aaron Nola's got the absolute funniest thing he could do today. Eliminate Team USA and his 2 teammates from the World Baseball Classic with Team Italy on the mound for Team Italy. I said it before the tournament. Mark DeRosa will find a way to F it up. Look, I'll be honest. I mean, I've been watching a little bit of it here and there, but I did not know that they could get eliminated last night either. It's not as big of a deal, Mark DeRosa not knowing they were eligible for elimination last night, as like say Don McNabb not knowing football games can end in a tie. I mean, it's not far off, but it's not the biggest unknown. I mean, the World Baseball Classics happened 6 times? Maybe he didn't know the rules and didn't know what was going on fully. Even if we advance, we're still going to have a Met pitching in the final. Rather have my guys back at camp. I'd rather have my guys never leave camp, to be honest with you. Could you talk about the TPC here or only on your awesome show? Look, I love talking golf. I love TPC Sawgrass. I saw your comment. Which golfers are you thinking about taking in your pool? Bruce, I'll tell you, if you got 4 or 5 guys you need narrowed down to 3, I will tell you which ones to take. I've got a good feeling my most profitable week last year in golf betting and golf picks was at Sawgrass last year. So you give me the names you're thinking about playing. I'm also going to go live tomorrow at some point in the afternoon to do a little Players Championship watch party. I'm going to do 2 or 3 golf watch parties this weekend. So stay tuned for that as well. Such a brutal loser organization up there in New York. Mont and Mannion were teammates. They're teammates. Okay. So it wasn't that they were teammates. So he's got a lot of connections then with the Eagles. You got to love that. That's how free agency works sometimes on these fringe players, right? Ravens are pissed at the Raiders sign their center. I never thought of that. Maybe it's not buyer's remorse. They're pissed at the deal of stealing Tyler Lindenbaum. That's an interesting one. I like that, Anthony. I like that out-of-the-box thinking because this is just something that just doesn't make sense to me. That there's got to be more to the puzzle there. Mets culture is saturated in failure. That is true. Woolen absolutely has the raw outside cornerback skill set that eclipses Coop. Way more food in the core. I don't know. I think Coop. I don't know. Maybe the raw talent, maybe, or skill set, maybe. Yes, but does he got the intangibles that elevates Coop? I don't know. No thanks on Crosby. Keep our draft pick. I'm not saying I want us to trade for Max Crosby unless it's going to be unless it's like a 2028 conditional 7th round pick. I'm not going for it right now. I'm still in on Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson's market isn't what he thought it would be. I'm trying to make a push for Trey Hendrickson, honestly. I was last year, and you all crushed me for that, and I'm doing it again this year. So, yeah, I agree. Why would the Ravens be investigated? No contract is set or trade is set till the league year begins. That's in the rule book. Players have pulled this. Yeah, this is basically a trade version of Frank Gore. Yeah, I know they're not going to. I think the Ravens or the Raiders might ask the league to investigate it, but I know you cannot investigate it. I am aware of that. There's nothing official till 4 o'clock today. Saw yesterday somebody report that Hendrickson to Baltimore was a definite possibility, and that's why Baltimore backed out. It is possible, Rick. Possible. All the buyer's remorse is possible, and the Hendrickson thing, all playing into account the bitterness on Linderbaum. I think it could be a combination of all of it. Cooper's a better lateral mover, bubbles around traffic way better, and a better tackler. I was going to ask, what's Woolen in run defense like? I mean, yesterday you talked about Adoree Jackson and how he's going to break down in run defense too much. Woolen's got the size to tackle. Does he like to tackle? And that's something that Coop is not afraid to lower his shoulder and make the hit. Coop's not afraid is capable of blitzing off the edge. I don't think Woolen has a single sack in his career. No, he does not. So, it is what it is. World Baseball Classic is a farce. Never was a huge fan of it. Never hated it, but never a huge fan of it. We are definitely doing a golf watch party either Thursday or Friday. Definitely doing one on Sunday if I don't make plans. We're definitely doing some Players' Championship watch parties this week. At least 2 over the 4 rounds, maybe 3. We'll see. Sabres are best. I could care less. I don't have any clue. Guys, if you haven't yet, we got 23 people watching YouTube right now. Like, share, subscribe if you have not yet. Please drop your comments. We're talking Eagles, free agency, everything. We're talking Players' Championship. All right, Bruce, you took Fleetwood, Morikawa, and Henley. The pool is 14 weeks. You can only pick it. So you did take 3 very good golfers, and I love all 3 of these golfers this week. I've got to bet on Russell Henley. Colin Morikawa might be the most popular player and this week, and Tommy Fleetwood is Tommy Lad, one of the best on tour. Now, if you can't take I don't know your pool exactly, all the details. I wish I was in it. Next year, hit me up and I'll join it with you. But if you can only use a golfer once all year, it's like a one and done. So this is a 3 and done you're in basically. I think Riq Woolen runs a 3 and done. If you're in a 3 and done and or 1 and done or 3, you only use them once. You don't want to use all your killers in 1 week. I would have used this week. I would have taken one of those names out and used like a Corey Connors or a Jake Knapp or a Sahith Theegala, a Ryan Fox for K1. You know who I love this week? A low name, unpopular name. Christian Bezuidenhout is a great. Seabass is a great play this week. So you got to understand when you can only use guys once, and if it's for all tournaments, you got to balance out your great players. When is Kenny Gainwell return party? I have no idea. Tommy Ladd. Tommy Ladd's a very underappreciated golfer this week for the Players' Championship. Baseball isn't America's game anymore. Honestly, Mr. It's not the craziest comment I've ever heard. Baseball is much bigger international game, which is crazy that it's out of the Olympics. Maybe it's back in the next Olympics in 28. But it's crazy that it's not in the Olympics anymore when it's so much more of a international game than it used to be. It's massive in Japan. By the way, the guy from Czechia, the electrician shutting down Team Japan, the greatest lineup in baseball, for 4 innings plus yesterday. What a story that is. The dude literally is an electrician and comes out every 3 years and pitches for his country. And that's it. And I think they said this is his last year doing it. Has no chance at making it in a Major League Baseball or any professional league. He is an electrician. Baseball isn't it's not America's pastime. It's a world pastime. There are 20 people and everyone had to put in 25. 3 people didn't pay yet, and the person running the pool sending them emails to pay. That sucks. That's what I hate about fantasy football. That same thing. Your guy's a cornerback. Yeah, Riq. I want to say Tariq so much. It's Riq Woolen. You guys have no pass rush. We still do not have a pass rush. I was saving some golfers for certain courses, as you said on some of your shows, that some golfers do better on certain. Absolutely, and that is true. And all 3 that you took are great, fits for Sawgrass. The difference is that those 3 golfers are great fits on All golf courses, because they're the elite of the elite. They're all top 10 in the world rankings for a reason. Why is he inducted in the Ring of Honor? Who? What? What did I miss there? What was Noom's last comment? Oh, Kenny Gainwell. Okay. I think Uncle Vic plans to cycle in cornerbacks more this season. We kept Carter and picked Woolen. I think they are scared they are burning out Q and Coop. I don't think they're scared about burning their cornerbacks out. I think Michael Carter is going to get a shot at safety, not to start, but to be a piece at safety, maybe a backup option if Drew Makuba doesn't develop. I think he's going to be, Michael Carter, a hybrid type corner safety guy. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think Vic Fangio had a say in this, though. Riq doesn't tackle. That's a question. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of his game. I haven't. He's a ball hawk corner. And those ball hawk corners can be so exciting, but also so frustrating at the same time. Ball hawk corners bite. Look, Josh Jobe played great down the stretch and in the playoffs and the Super Bowl for the Seahawks. But when you get, Josh Jobe wasn't that special before last year. He lost his job to Josh Jobe. So there are flaws in Riq Woolen's game. Hence why I thought it would be a little bit higher. It was. Now it's kind of the poll question. 39% have voted. It's a decent move. It's a better option than Adoree'. It's a better option than Keeley. But it's not like we got another Quinyon Mitchell out there. Okay? He's got potential, but not watching WBC next time unless they go all in on pitching. No way. Look, the timing of it is what it is with the pitcher. 6'4", Tar DBs are better at zone coverage, but they struggle in man. Well, actually, I read something yesterday, Mista, that his numbers in man coverage are where he excels the best, which is weird for a 6'4" guy. So that's just what I read. Bam really broke Kobe's record. Look, I refuse, Marshall. I said the first comment of the day was from Nooms on Bam's 83-point game. I refuse to discuss it because it was such a bogus thing. 497.5 free throws in a game, playing in a 25-point blowout to break Kobe's record. It's still Kobe, number 2 all-time scoring in a single game. No doubt about it in my mind. That was so bogus. And you know what? The only thing I will comment on the Bam, if you have not yet, go listen to Kelly Oubre's comments about it after yesterday's game. Sixers finally fixed their microwave. I watched none of the Sixers last night. Could care less about the Sixers. I let the wife put on beachfront bargain hunt fixer-upper, whatever, and I watched 2 hours of that instead of Sixers basketball. Manufactured by the NBA to get headlines during free agency. You know what? This is spot on. It was definitely a manufactured game last night, a manufactured thing. The NBA was losing headlines for 2 days to free agency in the NFL. Such a load of bogus, hocus-pocus horseshit, that game. Stupid. Brisker would be an amazing signing today. Look, I liked Brisker in the draft a few years back. What was it, 4 years ago, whatever it was. I liked him for the Eagles then. I think it was the year we took Reed Blankenship as an undrafted free agent safety. Brisker does have concussion issues and injury issues, but he's a guy that's physical. He can go. He can blitz the quarterback. He can attack the run. I would love him. It makes sense. Every day that he doesn't get signed means his price lowers into the realm of what the Eagles can afford. So, yeah. Haven't watched a single second Olympics this year, not because they're too, whatever. Bazoot and Hoot. Riq Woolen is the number 1 man coverage cornerback in the NFL. He allowed just 31% completion. Yes, which is weird for his size, but it is what it is. I wish I asked you first, as I don't know as much as I should. Now, every week, watch the show, or find my email address on my YouTube channel homepage, and send me an email, and I will give you some help with deciding. I'm not going to give you the answers, but if you're down to 5 or 6 guys, I'll help you select. I will. I'll help you win some money, Bruce. Kobe's team was trailing 20 when he went off for 81. It's good for Bam, but 8, yeah. It's stupid. It's dumb, and I hate it. It's always been liberal. With Tweet Smokers, Black Panthers, wear the FFU pin. Yeah, exactly. Since the world stole baseball and basketball, we need Trump to put tariffs on every team. I don't do politics, but that's pretty funny. Riq Woolen is Kerry Williams with dreads. I saw you say that something similar to that, but on Twitter or somewhere else. Riq fills the Zach McPherson-sized hole in my heart. Whatever happened to him? I know he's not on the Eagles roster anymore. Where is he? Do you feel Crosby is mad as how now people may think his knee is bad? I don't think he's mad. Max Crosby don't care. Max Crosby's going to play football next year in Vegas or somewhere else. Max Crosby knows he'll be fine. Max Crosby flying private jets and got $20+ million, $30+ million a year in his bank account. He ain't worried about it. I'm playing. I don't care if it's liberal. Yeah, whatever. That game showed how broken the NBA is. The game did show how broken the NBA is 100%. 100%. It is still Kobe's second place number. Don't lie to you care. What? Crosby is not losing money. He just signed a big contract that wherever yeah, exactly. Crosby ain't crying. Crosby isn't worried. It might be a little awkward that first day walking back into the Raiders complex today to get his knee treatment done. But he don't care. He got plenty of dollars. Nobody cares about the Hornets. Only way Daryl makes up for the McCain bullshit if he trades for Darius Garland. Daryl Morey better not be trading for Darius Garland, because that means he's still got a job next year. If Daryl Morey still has a job, I will 100% boycott the Sixers. 100%. Isn't Bubby Brister retired? Wasn't his nickname Buck Brister for a little while? Bubby Brister. I love me some Bubby Brister. You know, we always talk about how the Eagles and the Eagles fans love their backup quarterbacks all because of, you know, Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl. But, man, my love of backup quarterbacks with Bubby Brister, Rodney MVP, and so on goes back years and decades. Yeah, the Ravens didn't mess up anything for him. The Ravens look really bad in this situation. Hendrickson and Eagle by the end of the day. I mean, look, y'all bashed me last year. After it was like late July, early August, I was putting out videos and talking on this show that the Eagles should trade for Trey Hendrickson. Y'all said I was nuts, that we were fine. We had plenty of edge help. Now here we are this offseason. Hendrickson's out there. His value is dropping. You can get Hendrickson. Give him a 1-year, $30 million deal with 300 void years tacked on to save cap space and get the premier guy that's available. He's not going to sign for 30. It's going to be less than that at this point. I'm not supporting the Sixers if they keep Daryl Morey. I would love to know how busy GMs actually are on these opening days. I guarantee you that most good GMs in the NFL are not sleeping right now. Or if they are, they're sleeping in their office and they're not seeing their kids at all. My best guess is Howie Roseman hasn't slept in 36 hours, even though he's made no moves. Do they have these their underlings calling around? They do, but they're doing most of the work themselves as well. Their underlings are doing the research. Their underlings are talking to people and whatnot, but the GMs are talking to the GMs. Modest volume, that is true. That is fair. How the hell is Bob Myers not run the Sixers? Maybe he doesn't want to. My guess, Marshawn, on what's going to happen is that Myers is going to take over because Daryl Morey is the president. He's not technically the GM. Elton Brand is, right? But Daryl Morey is the de facto GM. My guess is Bob Myers takes over the president role, kind of like Pat Croce did. He takes over the president role, hires a GM, and lets the GM do the job. And he's just there as a voice, right? As a helping hand, right? Bob Myers, I don't think, wants to be the all-in GM anymore, making the day-to-day decisions. Is Bam a better player than Joel Embiid? Right now he is, because he's healthy. Probably right. I don't want to admit it. Modest volume as man coverage. I thought most of his snaps were in zone. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, though. Had to be an awful game to watch with all those free throws. Yeah, probably took 64 hours to get through. Rossini is reporting the Eagles. Well, if Rossini is reporting it, then it's probably not true. She's been so wrong so many times. But she's also been right on a lot of things as well. She just hates the Eagles. What kind of offer did you make to Deanna Rossini? The biggest Eagles hater out there, married to an Eagles fan. I don't know. I got to know what this offer is. Guys, if you haven't, I thought we were caught up on comments and more popped up. I don't believe a thing Rossini says until it happens. Yeah, she's something, Deanna Rossini. She really is. I think Woolen is more of a man-match zone guy, which I think some sites consider man and some consider zone. Like most analytics, I think it depends on the definition. You're getting too technical and analytical for me, Nooms. That's not my specialty. Look, all I can say on Riq Woolen is it is an improvement. The Eagles are better today than they were yesterday. And that's all that matters, right? That they got better, okay? Did they get massively better? No. But they got better. And that's all that matters. You're so right about her being wrong a lot, Phil. She is wrong a lot. It is what it is. All these reporters, they got sources. I got sources. My source is wrong. Supposedly, my source told me that we were signing Riq Woolen. I just must have had too many cocktails or gummies that night. I don't remember it. And he pulled up a screenshot of him telling me that, like, a week ago that Riq Woolen was signing with the Eagles. Somehow I missed that one. So my source is now at batting 333. Offer her ass a Coke and a smile. Obviously, I offered her the stop. Claimed I failed the physical. Would not be shot. We're about to spiral way out of control on this one. There was two other good pieces of news for the Eagles yesterday. Yeah, we are depressed that they re-signed Grant Calcaterra, and that may or may not mean that Dallas Goedert comes back. But Matt Pryor got shipped off to the Cardinals on a one-year deal. Brett Toth went to the 49ers on a one-year deal. Our two backup linemen, which creates a hole, but it's a hole I'm okay and willing to take a chance the Eagles have to fill. So Brett Toth, Matt Pryor, out of the Eagles offensive line room. Thank you. I don't have to see Matt Pryor on this team anymore. Crosby has a beautiful home in Vegas. He's probably happy he doesn't have to move to Baltimore. Who would want to move from Vegas, baby, to Baltimore? Here's what I'll say about Baltimore. I worked on cruise ships. You guys know that. Most of you know that. For about 2 years, right? I was based out of Baltimore on my first contract for like 2 or 3 months doing those Baltimore to the Bahamas runs, right? And part of training is a security training. And during the Baltimore run, security trains the crew. You are not allowed to leave the ship by yourself. You need you have to, only way to leave the ship in Baltimore to go ashore is if you have a buddy system process because of how dangerous Baltimore is, how bad the Dundalk Pier area is. They say, if you're leaving the ship, now I didn't care, I'm American, most of the crew members were foreigners and whatnot. I wasn't worried. I never left the ship in Baltimore anyway. But Baltimore is such a crappy city that they want you leaving the ship with a buddy. Ridiculous. I have an ad for soda pop from Temu. Okay. Hey, Temu, I just ordered a bunch of stuff from Temu, just 2 days ago. The eye test shows he can play press man when asked to. Look, again, it's all good information. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table for the Eagles. I'm excited to see what Vic Fangio can get out of him. I'm excited to see what Clint Hurt, is telling Vic Fangio about him. Those mental lapses, those penalties, the things that would piss Vic Fangio off. I can't wait till the first post-practice press conference in training camp where Riq gets beat and Vic Fangio calls him out and see how that reacts. I love it. I can't wait to see it. That's a good shirt. I wonder where I got this shirt. I'm not sure where this shirt came from, Big Al. Yeah. I've taken a lot of Baltimore cruises. It's convenient. It's a hour-and-a-half drive, cheap parking. It sucks. You get some cold days on the first few days working on a cruise ship, and you think you're going to all these tropical locations, and your first assignment is Baltimore to Orlando and Nassau. Wasn't what I thought, but whatever. That's not enough money in the world to make me work security on a modern-day cruise ship. There's not. I hear they pay better now. Back in the day, I did it for the travel and the experience, not the pay. You got free room and board, free food and stuff like that. I was an entertainer. I just got paid to party, but the pay was shit. I got paid $1,400 a month to work 7 days a week for 6 months straight. The money wasn't great, but it was all about the experience. I was 22, 23 years old. It was what it was. It's. I don't even think I think they forgot to polish it. Is that a legit company, Temu? Yeah, Temu's yeah. I love Temu. Half my wardrobe has come from Temu. What stinks of more, Buffalo or Baltimore? I don't have a quarter on me. Someone flip a coin and tell me what it says. This came from a certain Big Al, okay? He's excited to see how much he will make next year after Vic makes him look like a stud. As Phillips, I think that is exactly what Riq Woolen is thinking in this situation. I'm sure he had multiple people offering him 1 year or 2 year deals, maybe more, maybe less money. But he sees Philadelphia has an elite defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL. That Milton Williams got paid. Josh Sweat got paid. Now, Jalen Phillips got paid. Coop gets to play with the two best quarterbacks in football. He sees the place that, or what happens with people on 1 year deals in Philly, or at the end of their deals in Philly. He knows he's about to get paid. Was there chicks? Always. Thrifting is where it's at. Yeah. Check who owns the Sixers pick after Maxey's injury. Oh man, I know. I mean, we got a pick. We traded Jared McCain so we can get a pick, Marshawn. Yay! It's not our pick though. Baltimore Cruise sounds like one of those experiences like Chicago Sunroof. In a sentence, I thought she would give it up, but she took me on a Baltimore Cruise and left me icky. Like, it is what it is. It's convenient, but it's not an exciting thing. Running through the blue hair, loose women in the early 20s, the money was a bonus. The money was an absolute bonus. And I had little side gigs to make a little extra money, so it's all good. Bus trip to Baltimore was a promotion in Phil's life. Oh, man, only a select edge of people understand that one right there. Oh, man, that's a good one. It's a good one. That's a good throwback. Instead of dropping the cherry bombs, that's a good one. That's a good pull from the past that out of the newer people won't understand right there, K1. Today only took 45 minutes. We are caught up on comments. So, guys, please hit the buttons on your screen if you have not. It is free to do. It does not cost you a thing to hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. We are up to 15 likes today. Yesterday. This week's been a great week, obviously, with free agency. We haven't gained any subscribers this week. We've lost a subscriber, but we have had a good, solid week on viewership and growth this week. We gained one of them back this morning. Good. So hit the buttons on the screen. I'd greatly appreciate it. It means a lot for me. Please, we've got the goal of 2,000 subscribers by kickoff of opening day. Let me reset here. We've got a goal of hitting 2,000 subscribers by kickoff game one for the Eagles. I'm going to put the work in, but I need your help. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends, guys. I need you guys to help me out on that. Please. Bold goal. Very unachievable goal, but I'm going to do my damnedest to try to make it happen. But I need your help, guys. Did you charge you for Cleveland's team or just top shelf? Yeah. Brazil, yeah. Side gig equals no, that wasn't it. I actually it's too complicated to get into on the show. We're trying to talk sports. But basically I ran a poker game late nights down in the crew mess, which was closed. Long story short, I ran a poker game, a cash game, and I raked the pot and took tips. I basically was just like a poker dealer. And those Greek officers love to gamble in my poker game. So we'll just leave it at that. I could try to bring back cherry bombs right now. I just, the momentum's kind of stalled on the channel. So if I print out my analytics, I just need more. I think it's as much as subscribers as it is viewers, as it is, the analytics page on the thing. We just need to keep growing this channel. Howie, back in the bargain, scrap, and dent bin. With Riq Woolen, are you saying, Keith? Or are you saying with Grant Calcaterra and Johnny Munt? I like the Johnny Munt signing. The Grant Calcaterra is definitely bargain bin, scratch, and dent bin for sure. Riq Woolen, it intrigues me. I vote clearly. Maybe you're the one. We finally got our first vote on Woolen being overrated. Maybe that's you who voted for him. I don't think he's overrated. I think it's a decent signing. I think Eagles fans are a little overreactionary to it, but that's just my opinion. All the cruise crew are gamblers. Yeah. There's a lot of other things. I can't talk about cruise ship life openly on an open show. I can do it in private or in a group chat, but I can't do it here. Riq, look, I don't think it's crazy to say signing Riq Woolen comes with flaws. I'm shocked that it was $12 to $15 million. It's 12 base, $3 million incentives to get to 15. Nobody said how much is guaranteed yet on it. I do think some Eagles fans are overreacting to it. I don't think it's bargain, scratch, dent bin. It's an improvement over Adoree Jackson. It's an improvement over Keely Ringo. But it's not like you went out and got an all-pro guy. It's a former all-pro guy that has regressed every single year of his career. Poker tables in the casinos are backwards things. Absolutely. But poker table at my table, when I was running illegally down below in the depths of the hull of the ship, it was very interesting. Very interesting. Keith, you're 45 minutes late to the show. I have said this, I think, 4 times already, maybe 40 times already on this show. Now, Josh Jobe took his job, and Josh Jobe actually played very well once he got that chance. But you're not wrong. The only thing we disagree on this Riq Woolen situation is the level. To me, you think he's overrated. I think it's good. It's an improvement, but it's good. It's nothing special. Man, if there's a secret way I can run that, I could tell stories. But I like to keep certain parts of my life very close to the chest and vest. I don't like to ruin other people's reputations or my reputations or cruise lines' reputations. Calcaterra is back, so there is that. Look, the Grant Calcaterra shit is just the wildest, craziest, wackiest shit in my mind. There was literally, if you would sit here and say there was X% chance that Y player was coming back to the Eagles and then said, what's the % chance that Calcaterra comes back? I would fill in that X with 0%. I thought there was a 0% chance that Grant Calcaterra was coming back. And the fact that he is just blew my mind. Like, literally, all this hype, literally announcing that 10 minutes after the Riq Woolen announcement, hey, we get on the high. And then instantly, hey, it's not kick a man when he's down. Don't let a man get too up. Let's knock him down. It would be hard not to improve over Ringo. Absolutely agree on that. Which, by the way, Ringo should probably get cut here soon. I think it saves him like $1 million in cap space if they cut him. I guess there's no trade market for him. Between Munt, Wilson, and Ben Van Sumeren, I expect the blocking to improve a bit. Yeah, hopefully Wilson and Ben Van Sumeren are healthy. Hopefully. And yeah, Munt's great. Great. My poker table is more legal than the legal poker table. Honestly, absolutely. On the last cruise I went on a couple of years ago for New Year's, I actually got the poker table shut down because the dealer was so bad and made so many mistakes and made a mistake. I was stirring up some trouble because the dealer had no clue what he was doing, and I was getting pissed. I was saying things. I called for the floor, and then he made another mistake and cost me like $50. I was like, yo. And I called it out, and I stood up, and I started shouting. And everyone's like, yeah, let's just The casino's like, we're shutting this table down for the night. You guys are too rowdy. I'm like, I'm not rowdy. Pull up the camera. He don't know what he's doing. I'm like, shut down. Don't come back in the casino the rest of the cruise. That didn't stick, though. I want to know who the hell he is. Look it up. Mutt is a great blocker. I'm so excited to see him in the run game. We basically got another Jack Stahl. $15 million with incentives. No, it's $12 million with incentives up to 15. I'm sure it's only like 6 or 8 guaranteed as well. But till we see it, I don't know. It was hard to evaluate Johnny Wilson last preseason because he looked to have made progress. Yeah, that's accurate. We'll see. Complaining about Riq Woolen after seeing who played at cornerback 2 this year is such a Philly thing. Look, I'm the guy that stood up for Dory Jackson all year last year. So I don't know. He's obviously better than Adoree Jackson, but how much better, time will tell. My biggest concern with Riq Woolen is the boom bust and how he's going to react. One game, he's going to have a big pick 6, Marshawn, and we're going to call him the greatest cornerback of all time, put him in the Eagles Ring of Honor next to Kenny Gainwell. And the next game, he's going to get beat on 3 double moves and give up 3 touchdowns, and we're going to crush him. That's just the way it's going to be. He might win us a game, but he also might lose us 2 games. And that's my fear with him. It's a steal. I think it's I don't know about a steal. It's not like we got him for $2 million. We're paying him $12 million, Mitchie Poo. And good morning to you, Mitchie Poo. It's not like we're paying him peanuts, okay? He's getting paid to be a player, right? And to be a good player. I don't know if the word steal is the right word there. Don't make it sound like Howie is going to Walmart and getting players from the CD bin. Did not say that. Not at all. Johnny Wilson come off a decent injury. He's basically starting from scratch. I agree. Same with Ben Van Sumeren as well. You need to appeal to a younger demographic by doing dances and wearing giant hats. I did that on cruise ships, but no. When is Dallas Goedert's dead hit? I asked that at the beginning of the show. I asked it on Twitter, and no, everybody's got a different answer, Nooms, on this. There's even people out there saying that everybody else is wrong, that you could still adjust that cap hit after the time frame. So I don't know. There's so much different reporting out there on this situation. It's crazy. So I'm just going to wait and see how it plays out. If it hasn't happened yet, there's still a chance. If once that contract gets void and we're locked in that 20-plus dead cap hit, there's 0 chance Dallas Goedert comes back. The people complaining about Riq signing for almost nothing must not be familiar with him. Look, I'm familiar with him. And I went even deeper into his thing, Anthony. He's not a bad player, but he also has regressed the last 3 years. He is better than what we had, but not a superstar at this point. Can he regain superstar form? Absolutely. Can he come here with a great defense and thrive? 100%. Does he have a reason to do it? To get paid big in a booming cornerback market? Absolutely. No trade market for Ringo. Who would have thunk it? I know. Well, there's people out there that were saying you're going to trade him for a 6th-round pick. I just laughed at every one of them. Can Howie the Great identify some ascending players for a switch-up? You know, it's a great point. He doesn't identify ascending players in free agency. He identifies the ascending players in the draft. He gets those players in the draft, right? So I get that. You want to find the players that are stars before they're stars. It's a big thing, in my opinion, with the NBA. You got to find the next star before they're a star. It's a little different in the NFL, I think, though. Damn, I didn't know Phil is a Karen calling for managers and shit. Well, when my money's involved at a casino, yes. To have Goedert and Brown dead hits over just 2-player to have Goedert and Brown dead hits over just 2-player would be pretty shitty, yeah. Look, I think the Riq Woolen signing also does, depending on what the guaranteed money and what the cap hit is this year, does directly affect trading A.J. Brown because you've got less room to take that dead cap hit. Decent, great addition to the corner room. I mentioned yesterday the Eagles need better than to settle with Adoree in the other corners with exception of Q. Yeah, you did. And Howie Roseman was watching yesterday, Jonathan. He saw your comment and he went out and signed Riq Woolen. I'm just kidding with you, buddy. But I get it. It's an improvement. It's somewhere in between decent and great. I don't know what the right word is. Y'all built your O-line, draft a safety, legit tight end, and sign an edge, and you'd be scary again. We're already scary again. I'll ask Rossini and get back to you. Okay, gotcha. Because she probably knows. 6'4" and fast with better technique than a Dorian Keeley. Now Eagles can add corners and draft, and of course, the Eagles will not draft a cornerback this year now, Jonathan. You drafted Mac McWilliams last year. You just renegotiated Michael Carter's contract. The cornerback room is set for 2026. Unless somebody that they like falls to them in the 6th or 7th round, or they want to take a chance on, there's no way anywhere in the first 5 rounds a cornerback is taken. By the way, with the NFL draft, do with this information as you will. It was reported by a lot of people. I saw from Anthony DeBona yesterday. The Eagles hosted their first top 30 draft visit. You're allowed to bring in 30 players for visits leading up to the draft, for meetings and workouts, right? Their first person they brought in was not a tackle, was not a tight end, was not a cornerback or a safety. It was Indiana star wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr., who will be a first-round pick in this draft. Interesting. Omar Cooper Jr. as the first guy to come in. Could we see Howie Roseman draft the first-round wide receiver to be, and Omar Cooper can play inside and outside? Can Howie Roseman draft a wide receiver in the first round? It is not a crazy concept or thought process. 6-foot wide receiver can do it all. He got Bond. He needs to hit an ascending player for you. See, the thing is with Bond, Keith, I don't know if he hit on Bond. I almost want to say he got lucky on Bond. Let's go back to when we signed Zach Bond in 2024. We all thought he was being brought in to be a special teams player and a depth piece at linebacker, right? He was never played inside. I don't even remember if Vic Fangio was 100% sure if Zach Bond could play inside. It was one of those things that evolved over training camp. Just one of those weird things. I almost want to say he got lucky on the Zach Bond situation. Woolen is like Kelly Oubre of cornerbacks. He will give you solid play, can do it a few different ways, can occasionally tempt you into higher ceiling. I love that. Is Riq Woolen just the Kelly Oubre of the Eagles now? I think that's an interesting comparison based off of everything I've read, everything I've seen, everything I know about the player. A guy that's going to frustrate you at times, a guy that, like last night, is going to excite you, a guy that's always going to be solid, but then have those moments of boom and moments of bust. So that's an interesting one. Fan base complains when Howie doesn't do anything. Fan base complains when he does. Marshawn, explain it to me. Why is it like that? Why is this what we deal with as Eagles and Philly fans? This is it for every one of our teams in Philadelphia. We complain. Look, I gave Dombrowski credit yesterday. We complain about him. He made a good move. So you know what I did? I gave him credit for the Jesus Luzardo extension. They're going to go heavy on line, tackle, or tight end, and edge. They probably will. They should. But your first visit is from a wide receiver. It intrigues me. A.J. Brown is most likely staying this year, like it or not. Doesn't mean he's staying next year or after next year. You got guys getting older at wide receiver. Well, A.J. Brown. You don't have an elite third wide receiver. You don't have a guy to replace these guys. I don't know. I'm intrigued by the idea of drafting a wide receiver in the first round. You need an edge that is 6'7". We do have some small, undersized edges, but small, undersized edges, man, chatter, are what works for Vic Fangio's scheme. 6'7", 270 edges can't drop into coverage the way Vic Fangio needs them to do it for his system. Omar Cooper. Well, I don't watch a lot of college football, but I did watch the last 2 Indiana Hoosier games of the year, and I did fall in love with that team a little bit. I did enjoy what I saw, and I mean, there were little glimpses that I saw in those 2 games. of a lot of players on that team. They may have told us what they think of Mac. They're telling us they know he hasn't shown up yet, right? I don't think they're giving up on him totally yet, but he's a special teamers at best. I mean, Mac McWilliams was what? A healthy scratch? He was on the inactive list like 90% of the games last year. He wasn't even used on special teams last year. Gus Johnson sounded like someone was squeezing his nuts when Cooper caught that game-winning touchdown. Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm intrigued by the thought process there. Vaughn was lucky because Vic reviewed the trade and said, nah, he's this position. Then the light went off in Howie's head. Howie listens. Yeah, look, it's interesting. What's up, Big K? It's been a wild morning so far on the show. Bring some sanity to the comment section today, AK. Ravens and Trey Hendrickson reached an agreement on 4-year. What? Really? Breaking news per Big Al. This is my news source, Big Al. First thing I refreshed. No, that's not that. Let's. I got to confirm it. You might say this, but what I'm seeing on here is the Eagles have made an offer for Trey Hendrickson per Deanna Rossini. That was reported 34 minutes ago. So I do not see anything. Nope. And then Ian Rappaport, 10 minutes after Rossini says that, Ian Rappaport puts out that you are right. He is going to the Baltimore Ravens. Wow. Didn't take long. Just under $30 million a year. I can't wait to see the details on that one. Trey Hendrickson going to the Ravens instead of Max Crosby. What's Max Crosby? How much more money does Max Crosby make than Hendrickson now? Did they just want to save money? That's just interesting to me. A.J. Brown is soon to be gone, and if not, a top receiver is needed regardless. So the receiver prospect is very possible as first-round pick. Absolutely agree that receiver depth is below average anyway. People say, oh, no, Darius Cooper will be wide receiver 3 and earn that right. No, Darius Cooper ain't your wide receiver 3. He's your wide receiver 4. Johnny Wilson's a blocking wide receiver. They're your 4 and 5 if Johnny Wilson's even healthy. You need a wide receiver 3. Drafting one's not crazy. Buyer's remorse it is definitely buyer's remorse because it didn't take long to get that deal done. It's almost like they already were working on the deal. There's a little glitch there. You get to complain when you look at the cavalcade of scrap heap bums, how he got in free agency, especially in 23 and 25. But not the scrap heap in 22 and 24. You're looking at the negative years. I'm looking at the positive years. And even those negative years, we were still a damn fine football team. We were a couple injuries away from still having a chance to compete for a Super Bowl last year. 23 was a much bigger disaster than 25, in my opinion. But even in 23, we were 10-1, and Jalen Hurts was the favorite to win the MVP until the collapse happened. We're still trying to will A.J. Brown out of here. I say, no, I'm not. I've never been trying to will him out of here. Financially, it doesn't make sense. Talent on the roster, it doesn't make sense. It is what it is. Try again. A lot of dough for Hendrickson. Is it? I don't know if it's a lot. It's what Premier, it's less than what Jalen Phillips got. Blowing smoke up. Yeah, look, literally 30 minutes before Trey Hendrickson signed, less than 30 minutes with the Ravens, she says the Eagles put in an offer. It's kind of comical. Let's continue to crush Rossini today. Let's not put it in stone yet. Maybe the Ravens, that's true. It's not 4 o'clock yet, Marshawn. Maybe Trey Hendrickson backs out now. Minter was like, there is no way in hell I start my tenure with a fail. Hey, Trey, get your ass over here. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe. Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson over me. Can't wait for that Instagram post or tweet from him. You know, Max Crosby loves to do the emoji eyes on tweets. That's all he does. So Max Crosby is going to tweet out or quote tweet one of the Hendrickson posts, which is emoji eyes. And that's your way of knowing that's what he's saying, right? Absolutely. Guys, we're caught up on the comments. It's 4 minutes into the show. We got, let's say, 18 likes? 18 likes, guys. Hit the buttons. Like, share, subscribe, please. This is Trending in the AM. Whether you're watching live or on replay, please hit the buttons. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. We're talking the Eagles. We're talking free agency. We're talking Riq Woolen, the newest starting cornerback on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking Greg Calcaterra. Nobody else. I said it once, and no one got hyped when I said it, that we don't have to see Matt Pryor or Brett Toth anymore in an Eagles uniform. Why is no one else excited about that like me? Because I'm ecstatic that they're not coming back. We might have to take Greg Calcaterra back for one more year, but we don't have to take those back for one more year. I still can't believe Greg Calcaterra is coming back for one more year. Like, my mind just cannot grasp it. My mind cannot wrap that around. I can't wrap that around my head. The fact that your blocking tight end, Johnny Munt, that you just signed, has more catches in the last 4 years than Greg Calcaterra, a guy that had many opportunities to start with all the Dallas Goedert injuries. It's crazy to me. I don't get it. Anyway, so what's next for Howie Roseman to do? They fixed it. Obviously, safety and tight end for 2026 are the big deals that need to be figured out, the big situations that need to be settled, right? But as Nooms will remind us time and time again, offensive line is still a question mark. Do the Eagles bring back Fred Johnson? Probably not. The Eagles cannot go into next offseason with their starting five, 1 or 2 draft picks, and last year's draft picks, can they? They've got to go out and bring in at least one more veteran presence on the offensive line as a backup, whether it's a swing tackle, whether it's a hybrid guard center, whatever it is, right? So what is there? What? Let's prioritize what needs to get done. Letting those OGs go tells me they have faith with the O-line pieces currently in-house for depth. They didn't get those opportunities last year. Cam Williams, Pierce, Holland Pierce, Drew Kendall, Willie Lampkin. I'm missing one other name there. Williams, Pierce, Lampkin, Kendall. There's one more name I'm missing there. Maybe 2 of them are good enough with whoever we draft. If we draft a tackle in the first round, a guard in the second, something like that. Have we signed a punter yet? We have not signed a punter. Brandon Mann is still out there. And there have been a couple punters in the NFL, shockingly, that got paid a shit ton of money this week already. Like, punters and kickers are all of a sudden getting paid, and it just blows my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if Howie sends a 6 to Green Bay here in the next 24 hours for Luke Musgrave, since he's buried behind Castan, can use Luke to help implement the offense. It's an interesting idea. Is that what it would take? 6? I'm fine with that. 6-round picks are fine to trade. No problem with that. Howie's not done at all, AK. Not even close. Man, we need man. Lampkin and Kendall are both going to be solid players in this league. Time will tell, right? We haven't seen enough game film to really understand or know for sure. I'll be curious to see how they play with it. Like, those guys only got a little bit of time in Stout U. They're going to be more Cooper developments than Stout developments. That's huge news, yes. You know what's the other thing on the A.J. Brown front, right, is that the Patriots signed Romeo Doubs to a 4-year, near $80 million contract, right? That's another big development in this whole situation, right? That the number 1 team, I know Dobbs isn't a number 1 wide receiver. I know it doesn't completely take him out. But does that change anything to those that want to trade him? Those young guys might have been ready, and Stout might have just liked the vets better. Maybe. Stout was very, very in love with Pryor and Toth. Maybe to a detriment to himself. Maybe that was part of the... We don't know all the disagreements that were going on behind the scenes that made Stout want to leave. Maybe Nick Sirianni and a backup coach or an assistant coach wanted to give one of those guys a chance over some of the injured players or the vets like Toth and Pryor, and Stout said no. They're not ready. Maybe. Luke is young, and he's a decent tight end to develop. As I was reminded recently, speak with my rabbi. You can't stop people from hiring friends over talent. It's true. Johnny Munt has a lot of connections to the Eagles coaching staff as well. It was reported he played with Sean Mannion. He was with Chris Cooper in Minnesota when he was one of the coaches there. So there was a connection there. Obviously, Riq Woolen also had a connection to Clint Hurt. So there is that. Howie needs to take the tight end room more serious. Needs to draft Sadiq round 1, if not a receiver. Well, again, first visit was a wide receiver, Omar Cooper. Yesterday, I don't know. It was reported yesterday. I don't know when they met. Look, you're not. Don't be disappointed when he does not take the tight end room more seriously. Again, I still do not think Sadiq falls to 23. I don't think Omar Cooper falls to 23 either, right? But when you take on a $20.5 million dead cap hit on Dallas Goedert, you're not spending big on tight end. You just can't do it. Can't afford it. Will Matt and Calcaterra be the starting tight end? There is a legit possibility that Grant Calcaterra is the starting tight end. That they draft somebody in round 3, whoever it is. We all have our favorites, right? Whatever. They're all third-round tight ends or all whatever. They're all crapshoots, right? That it's Calcaterra, and the rookie has to push Calcaterra, which wouldn't be hard, to steal the job from Calcaterra, and munch your blocking guy on blocking downs. That's it. There's a legit chance, elephant in the room, that is your tight end. Munt, Calcaterra, and a rookie in the second or third round. I mean, Rick, if I was Howie Roseman, it would be without a doubt a lock right now that it is offensive line, depending on how the board falls and stuff like that. But I would be doing everything in my power to get the best tackle in the draft that I can at 23, even if I got to move up 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. That would be my plan. But we're not Howie Roseman. We don't live in the Howie Roseman world, right? It's Howie Roseman's world, and we just live in it, right? It could be. It could be. What's up, Mr. Soldier Steven? How was the Union game last night? Did the Union win last night? Was it worth you skipping Players' Championship week on Fairway to Heaven to go to a Philadelphia Union soccer match from that disappointing team that plays down in Chester in a conference for work, but so can't stay, but want to say, yep, there we go. Honest question, do you feel favoritism sometimes plagues this team? Kind of got to give me a longer version of your question. Favoritism in what way? I mean, I think there was some favoritism. There's always favoritism on teams in all sports. Like Brett Toth being here as long as he was, Matt Pryor coming back. That was favoritism from Stout, maybe a little bit, but also comfortability with their skill sets or lack thereof, whatever. I need a more detailed version of your question to properly answer it. I think there's favoritism in the Phillies for sure. You know, they do whatever they can to keep Bryce Harper happy. But I need a more detailed version of this. Union lost 1-0. Yes, it was totally worth Steve's time to make me substitute with Elise last night. But anyway, so the Union suck now. The Union were the best team in Philly for a little while, but they're not anymore. On a nice night like last night, I would say it was worth it to watch soccer on a beautiful. Dude, yesterday was beautiful. I sat outside on my back patio for quite a bit of time. The dogs were sunbathing. My dogs love to sunbathe. They definitely haven't shed their winter coat yet, so they definitely overheat. They were overheating very quickly yesterday, so it was constant in and out. But it was nice. It's a shame I'm in like a little no alcohol stretch right now where I'm trying to detox because a couple of beers yesterday on that patio would have been very, very enjoyable. Cal Munt and a rookie later in the draft with Grant as a starter is Howie with a lost mind. That is Howie. That is Howie's good work catching up to him. That $20 million dead cap on Dallas Goedert caught up to him, right? It is what it is. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet. You can't have an all-pro at every position. This year, tight end, might be Calcaterra as your starting tight end might be this year's version of a Dory Jackson as a starting cornerback last year. That's just the way it works, right? Sometimes one position has to. You still got Dallas. You still got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and if healthy, one of the best offensive lines in football. Big if, but sometimes a position has to be taken cheaply. Last year they went cheap on cornerback too. Maybe they're going cheap on tight end this year, right? Maybe by the time this show ends, Goddard is signed. Who knows? We'll see. But I think the Dallas Goedert situation caught up to them. Missing out or choosing not to draft a tight end last year caught up to him. Just shout at your boss. Well, why is your boss watching the show, Big Al? That's what you should be saying. Is your boss subscribed? Is your boss watching? Your boss could be in the chat telling you to get back to work so he can watch the show as well. That's what I got to say. Work doesn't start till after 9:30, Big Al. That's the way it is. Do you feel sometimes we play favorites with players and instead of improving and moving forward, we sometimes just stay stagnant with a player just because of familiarity? I think the Eagles do this more with the backups and the depth than they do with the starters. I don't think, and I get you're trying. I think I understand what you're saying. I know you're not a baseball guy or a Phillies fan. It's like the Phillies during Ruben Amaro's, giving out big extensions to Carlos Ruiz, Ryan Howard. Not letting go of players. But in the Phillies stance back then, they were the stars. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles have a problem letting go of their star players if they have to, or the players that are slightly declining that had big impacts on this team. I think Howie Roseman looks at this as a business. Howie Roseman has openly talked about sometimes you got to lose players. I mean, letting Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship go, players that were loved by Philly fans, is proof of that. Letting Jalen Phillips walk is proof of that. I don't think they play favorites as much as maybe some might think, or as the Phillies used to in the past with that aspect, with the depth pieces they have in the past, for sure. Now, there is a report that Grant Calcaterra is very close with Jalen Hurts, and maybe that's why Grant Calcaterra is back. I've never heard that before, so I don't know if that's true or not. I wonder if we'd be able to land Jennings, the mullet dunker in round 2. What? Who? I don't know who that is. 2026 may very well be set up for the 2027 season. It's possible. It's possible. And even if they're setting up for 2027, Rick, it doesn't mean we're not going to be the best team in the division, one of the best teams in the conference, right? The Eagles are still going to be a contender for the Super Bowl. They're like 16-1. They're one of the top 5 teams favored to win the Super Bowl next year. They're still an elite roster. Some of their holes might be big gaping holes. I don't know. Look, there's 2027 is going to be an interesting year because that's when some of these big extensions start to kick in. Is what it is. We'll see what happens, but I don't know the answer. Let's refresh Twitter one more time. No info on the max money. Deanna Rossini tweeting out 8 minutes after she tweeted the Phillies thing. Quote, that's so funny. I love it. How wrong she was again for the 100th time. It's quite comical. Oh, man. No other breaking news that I could find anywhere. Yeah. I don't know. Do you agree with my opinion on your question, AK? Or am I thinking am I going too deep on that? Needs to do what he needs to do. I think Howie is still soft on linebacker, but doing it differently. Basically, draft well, then letting young talent leave unless you play healthy and wow him. Yeah, I think that's a big thing for Howie. He's an offensive. We were talking tight end. I figured he was a tight end. Offensive tackle, mullet is bonkers. All right, hold on. Let me go back up here and write his name down. Jennings Dunker. I'll look him up after the show, for sure. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to let this play out. I have all the faith in my team, but deep down I still question a lot of this shit. So I hope it works the way they want. Look, so here's how I'm going to answer your comment here, AK. I'm going to be honest with you. I am going to let this play out. I have faith in my team. Deep down, I do have questions. But my faith is based off of the track record and success that this team has had. And the track record of success tells me to have faith. So I'm going in, like I went to the Sixers season with no expectations. So their absolute spiral out of control doesn't upset me, right? I have expectations despite a few doubts because the track record tells me that they always have the best interest of the team in mind, that they're not just throwing shit up against the wall. They're not throwing the spaghetti up against the wall to see if it's cooked or not, which is not how you check if spaghetti's cooked, by the way. Yeah. The track record tells me that it's okay to have faith and doubt them less. Okay, we're on the same page, which isn't always the case between me and you, but we're on the same page on this one, right? Which I think is good. It's about time me and AK got on the same page on something. But that's what separates this show from other shows. Unlike the truth seeker the other day who thinks I'm an idiot, or the guy that calls me a guy that has no idea what football is yesterday on Twitter. This show, we are allowed to have differing opinions, right? All opinions matter. We don't always have to agree. I think that's what makes this show stand out. That all opinions are welcome, as long as you're willing to debate them in a sane way and not be a name caller. That's what this is. Dunker, interior O-line, Iowa. I did, in one of the mock drafts I've run, I did draft an Iowa interior O-lineman. So maybe it was him that I drafted. Be there at 23, but doubt Eagles take him there, but maybe. Yeah, I doubt they would draft a guard or a center type guy in the first round. Definitely in the second round, though. Why would you throw food against the wall to see if it's cooked? It's an old wives' tale. It's an old Italian wives' tale. It is not true. If you went to Italy and asked any Italian, they would not do that. You literally take it out of the water and you break it or taste it to see if it's cooked. It's literally, why would you make dirty the wall? Why would you waste the food? Stupid. I think Sirianni sucks ass. You all disagree. But hey, it's totally fine. Exactly. I tell you you're an idiot for it. In a very polite and friendly way. But we debate it also in a very safe way. Like, I joke with you because you've been coming on here so long and call you an idiot. But it was your first time. I wouldn't call you an idiot. I'd say you're wrong and here's why. Then you would comment, here's why you think the way it is. That's what I think separates this show. But you can't say Elton John is overrated here. You can't. As a pianist myself, well, former retired pianist, you can't say that. What you're saying, Phil, but I also know that not just 3 months ago, we got our asses kicked by a practice squad in the playoffs that was injury-riddled, and we were at full capacity. We were not at full capacity, AK. Landon Dickerson was playing at 60%. Cam Jurgens obviously was playing at 70%. Lane Johnson was out, and Jordan Mailata was hurt all year and just never sat out. Direct quote from him, okay? So we weren't at full capacity, okay? Not at all. The offensive line, to me, injury-wise, is exactly why we did not make a deep run last year. That's the number one reason. Kevin Patullo, too. Offensive line, number one, Kevin Patullo, too. So I have to worry a little bit, but I do believe, but that last loss still stands. It breaks my heart. It sucks. Elton John is not overrated. He is rated, yeah. Also, Jimmy Buffett fans are just a bunch of boomer alcoholics. I mean, I'm not going to deny you on that. My Jimmy Buffett tattoo tells you that, okay? That's why I'm in a 4-day detox right now, okay? But Jimmy Buffett's also great. That is why Bubbles Up comes out, okay? Elton John got a few good songs. Elton John's got a lot of good songs. I still take Billy Joel over Elton John any day. Because he's way more entertaining in a live performance setting. But, yeah, Elton John's still great. Don't ever besmirch the name Jimmy Buffett, though, okay? Compared to the 49ers, dog, we were at full capacity. You didn't say that. You didn't say compared to them, okay? You said we were at full capacity. Details matter. Okay? I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I still firmly believe the Eagles season would have turned out differently if the offensive line's healthy last year. I still believe Kevin Petula's tenure here may have turned out differently if the offensive line was healthy. Maybe not. I still think last year would have been such a difference if we just would have sat Landon Dickerson out for the first 3 weeks. Cam Jurgens given him a break for a couple weeks around the bye. Everything would have been different last year if we had a healthy offensive line. The Niners have that power station. Mike Evans, hamstring has already gotten re-torn because of that substation. I'm wondering if there's a substation near the Sixers practice facility. I'll be honest with you. Maybe that's what's been wrong with Joel Embiid his whole entire career. I'm not sure, but maybe. Maybe. We're coming up to the end of the show today. Got to 20 likes today. Poll question results. Do we like the free agent signing of Riq Woolen? Great addition. Wins it, 62%. Don't overreact. He's decent, 34%. He is overrated, 3%. That was just Keith voting, and that's it. It seems like. If things were different, they wouldn't be the same. Jimmy Buckets is greater than Jimmy Buffett on the basketball court, not on stage. I don't know. Does Jimmy Buckets rap at all? I don't know. No. Don't be ever besmirch the name of the great man, Jimmy Buffett. That'll get you a timeout. It's common sense. I shouldn't have to say something for you to know what I meant. Nope. Common sense, nope. Assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. Plain and simple, okay? Plain and simple, okay? Just say it. I know what you meant, but I wasn't wrong with what I said. I agree with Petula firing. His offense has two. I agree with Petula firing. His offense has 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard running back, Goddard career year. Maybe, just maybe, if AJ didn't temper tantrum all year, things would have been different. I don't think the temper tantrums mattered. I mean, they mattered. Let me backtrack that because details matter. They mattered. But they mattered because of the offense. The offensive line was a bigger issue. Okay? The number, I would still say, O-line one, problem one. Petula, problem two. A.J. Brown's Roger Dorning, number 3. That's my power ranking on what went wrong last year for the Eagles. Always fins up. I think the Camden Waterfront Power Station is closer to the old Shark Stadium. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's my next question. If KP makes Malik Willis look really good in Miami and Duke gets like 4,000 passing yards, Eagles fans, how do we look at? Man, I don't know. I don't want to answer that question because I don't know how to answer that question. Is he the quarterback coach there or the passing game coordinator there? I don't know. That is not a question I'm ready to tackle at this point on March 11th. But I know what you're getting at, and I hear it, and I see it, and I'm scared to answer that question. What would Eagles fans say, though? I know we're at the end of the show. We'll just go overtime today. F it. Nobody bought overtime, but I'm just going to give you overtime anyway. And dude gets like 4,000 passes. What will be how will you change the power rankings of what went wrong last year? I don't think I would change anything. As I stalled there to get my answer, it would just prove that Kevin Petula is not a qualified candidate to be a play caller or an offensive coordinator. He's a qualified offensive mind. Look, he has been an offensive coach in the NFL for almost 20 years. It took almost 20 years to get his first job as an OC for a reason, right? So what it would reinforce is the idea that KP is great as a quarterback coach or a passing game coordinator or an offensive and assistant, but he just can't be an OC. That he'll have a long career as an assistant coach, but he'll never be an OC or a head coach ever. Yeah, he's not doing crap anyway. Miami is in full tank mode right now. Well, you wanted real conversation. You wanted me to bring it, so I'm bringing it. You are bringing it here late in the show today with some tough questions. I think my answer is fair, right? I think I've got a logical answer. I don't know if that's what the majority of Eagles fans will feel, but that's how I'll feel about it. I'm not saying he wasn't a major problem or a reason for the team's failures. He wasn't number one, okay? He wasn't number one. Why would Kevin Patullo, as a passing game coordinator, having a successful quarterback, mean Nick Sirianni's got to get fired? I disagree with that wholeheartedly, okay? KP was the one calling the plays. Yes, Nick Sirianni was the one that gave him the job, but that doesn't mean he's got to get fired over it. Peter Principle, yeah. Anyway, guys, we're at the end of the show. We got a minute or two of overtime in. O-line injuries, 1, AJ, 1A. I disagree with that, Rick. I would put him at 3. Especially if Miami would do better than us this year. I am so firing his ass. No. Nick Sirianni ain't getting fired this year. Unless he goes 3-14 this year, he is not getting fired. Bookmark it, clip it out, do whatever you want. Save this video. Unless the Eagles completely tank and win like 3 or 4 games, there is 0.000 chance that Nick Sirianni or Howie Roseman gets fired. I'm going back my plow. What? Anyway, guys, got to wrap this up. Got things to accomplish today, things to do. I don't see any other breaking news on Twitter at all right now. Bills have there was breaking news. Bills have restructured the contract of Josh Allen, creating $40 million in salary cap space. Look at that. There is news for those Buffalo Bills for the man chatter right there. Anything else? No. Who's that? I thought it was Kayvon. No. Clavion Chasen signing with the Commanders as an edge rusher. Anyway, that's it. Yeah. Imagine living in a city where 2 terrible franchises and a pretty good franchise and a stellar franchise, and people are talking about firing the head coach. Exactly. Only in Philly. You could disagree with it, but the one thing I do know is Nick and Jalen are the only 2 constants left. We have changed everything else. And those 2 constants have gotten us to 2 Super Bowls and won us one. Yes, they've had 2 disappointing. I don't want to use the word collapse. 2 disappointing seasons by the standards we set. But they weren't bad seasons. They were 2 playoff seasons. Okay? Grant Calcaterra resigns with the Eagles. It's not breaking news. Why do you want me to end on... Somebody put something positive. I'll end on a positive comment here. Can't end on a negative comment. But yeah, anyway, I do got to end. I got things to get to today. So everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow morning, obviously, with more. Sirianni has never missed the playoffs. Yes? Not at all. Everybody have a great day. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe if you have not yet. Everybody have a good one. I can't wait to talk again tomorrow, guys. Maybe if anything big breaking news happens today, maybe I go live later today. Doubtful, but I don't doubt anything's worth it. It's going to happen today. But for now, guys, everybody have a great day. Thank you very much for another great show, guys. Go Birds! Bubbles up.